Hello everybody, it is Shadane here with a brand new Skyrim character build for you guys today. We are looking at the Vampire Hunter. Now, I think I made a post on Twitter a couple weeks ago or something saying I'm testing out a new Skyrim character build, and then I never really got around to it. You know how it is, right? You're busy. But here it is finally, and what I planned on doing actually, and what I still plan on doing, is having almost like a two-part mini-series of character builds for the Dawnguard. For the Dawnguard DLC, that's just I enjoy the DLC, so I thought I'd do a like a double build for it event sort of thing. I was planning on doing it back when it was like the official release on PlayStation or whatever, but I never got around to it, like I said. So today the Vampire Hunter, and then when I get around to it, the actual Vampire Lord, or whatever I'm going to end up calling it. But yeah, that's the backstory for that. We're going to be looking at the Vampire Hunter today. Why don't we jump right into it? Alright, jumping right into the skills here, we have Sneak, Ranged, Light Armor, One-Handed, Restoration, Enchanting, and Block. Now, the unique thing I like about this build, when I designed it, was instead of being your classical Vampire Hunter with all your heavy armor and your big two-handed sword running around at all the blood-sucking bastards, this takes more of a dark, stealthy approach, almost in the sense of like a Batman sort of thing. It's actually kind of similar to my Nightingale, like, good side build, if you guys watch that. So yeah, Sneak is really, this is actually really rewarding. Like, when you're playing against a vampire and they're the ones who's supposed to be all sneaky and hidden, and then you get the jump on them, it's really funny. And then Ranged, like, perfect combination with Sneak. I'm sure anywhere you go you hear Sneak. You'll also want Ranged because they go hand in hand really well. Excuse me, sorry guys, I'm a little sick. But other than that, Light Armor and One-Handed. One-Handed I didn't use so much. It's more for if you do get found and someone's up close, you don't want to use your bow anymore, then you pull that out, start hacking away at them. As for Light Armor, well, you could go robes, but I just love the Dawnguard Light Armor so much that I had to go with that. So that's the reasoning for those two. And then we have Restoration, Enchanting, and Block. Now these, Restoration and Block first of all. This list is a little out of order actually, but it doesn't matter. Restoration and Block are you don't need them. In fact, in the playthrough I'm doing right now, I said I was going to go with Restoration and leave Block alone, but I didn't even use Restoration at all yet, I don't think, other than like maybe once to heal myself. But generally those two I don't tend to use. Of course, if you want to, you could substitute Range and just go all one-handed and use those two or something, I don't know. But I typically didn't use the two of them. And then Enchanting finally is your passive side skill that you're going to use to enchant all your gear. I didn't actually include enchantments in this build here, but I'm sure you can just throw on something like Fortify Sneak or Fortify Health or something, and I'm sure it will be fine. Yeah, so that's the overview. Again, Sneak, Ranged, Light Armor, One-Handed, Restoration, Enchanting, and Block. Why don't we move on now? Alright, so taking a look at our weapons and armor, the greatest weapon that you can use for this build, in my opinion, is the Enhanced Dwarven Crossbow. It's extremely powerful against vampires. You have all your enchanted arrows and all that. Plus, you know, it does more damage per hit compared to a bow. So, seeing as you're sneaking anyway, you don't really need to worry about reload times as much because it's going to be a one hit and you're done. And they're dead, right? Sorry guys, excuse me, but that's going to be your main weapon. I haven't gotten to that part yet. I do have a crossbow though, and let me tell you, it is a beast against vampires. It kicks some serious ass. But definitely get your hands on that as soon as possible, and get the crossbow bolt upgrades as well. As for your one-handed weapon, I personally chose the Dawnbreaker for this build because, I mean, seriously, you're a vampire hunter, and Dawnbreaker is just perfect. Ignore that it's a Daedric Lord that gives it to you, because Dawnbreaker is like, it's great. It's actually so good. against undead at least. But anyway, yeah, that's your one-handed. And if you're going for shield, highly recommend Oriel's shield. You need to get through a very good portion of the Dawnguard DLC to get to it, but I mean, at this point, who hasn't played the Dawnguard DLC, right? It was like released, what, how many years ago now? I don't even know. But yeah, that's a great shield for that. And finally, restoration spells. I don't actually remember the specific restoration spells for the Dawnguard DLC. However, those are great ones to use too. I think that's actually the reason why I included restoration in the build in the first place, although my memory is a little fuzzy right now. But those are great spells. I have tried them out in previous builds, and despite not using restoration that much, when I did use them, they were pretty good. So I did definitely use those, and if you are planning on doing restoration, I highly recommend at least giving them a try. As for armor, Dawnguard armor, kind of an obvious choice, not to mention it looks freaking awesome. As I said earlier, the light Dawnguard armor, not the heavy, because first of all, you're sneaking, that's not great, unless you can like get your sneak to 100 and get crazy muffled boots or something, but I will leave that up to you. I went light armor because that's what's in the build, even though that heavy armor looks great. I mean, look at that, right? But I still had to go for the light armor. If for some reason you absolutely despise the Dawnguard armor, which I really don't know why you would, you could always go for the steel plate armor instead, and that, I feel, it still has that sort of like knightly, it still makes you look more of like that sort of knight build. I don't know what I'm talking about. Actually, yeah, wait, that's a heavy armor. Why did I throw that in there? Anyway, yeah, Dawnguard light armor. Let's move on. Alright, well, taking a look at the stat spread and the quest lines for this crazy half thrown together build that I actually was trying to plan a lot for, but I must have screwed up somewhere with that whole armor thing. But for the stat spread, what I did on mine was a 2-1-2, 2 to magicka, 1 to health, 2 to stamina. I mean, at this point, if you've seen my other builds, I'm sure you know why you would need magicka and stamina and health, or even if you just played Skyrim in general, I'm sure you know what they're for, so I'm not really going to walk you through the whole thing, oh, you need this for this reason, like I normally do, because honestly, who cares? I mean, I'm sure you can judge for yourself whether or not you need magicka or stamina, and why it's important. As for quest lines, Dawn. That's all I'm gonna say. Dawn. I'm just kidding. Dawnguard side quests, Break of Dawn. Dawnguard, obviously this is a Dawnguard build, you're gonna want to join with the Dawnguard side, so you can get your armor and all your restoration spells and all that crazy stuff. And then the side quests, like, for example, the crossbow ones. I know that when I've played through Dawnguard in the past, I've never really gone for the crossbows or any of the side quests, because they are, honestly, I don't like side quests. But that's one of the reasons why I make all these builds, is to do all those side quests. What build was it? I think it was the Bard. I think. No, it wasn't the... I can't remember, but there was one build that I made. Maybe it was the Bard, but it was specifically designed to do all the side quests in the game instead of doing all the main quests, because I hadn't actually done them, and I wanted to experience them. So this is the same sort of deal, except more towards Dawnguard side quests. In a sense, it's the same deal, but I'm sure you guys understand what I'm saying, right? As what am I doing? I'm losing myself now. Okay, Break of Dawn. That's where you get your Dawnbreaker sword. Yeah, there's a lot of dawns in this build. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop now because I'm losing my train of thought. Alright guys, well, now that that's over with, I just want to do a quick sort of channel update, because whenever I make actual dedicated videos for channel updates, nobody really watches them, so if you really don't give a crap, feel free to leave now, I couldn't care less. But for those of you who are actually interested, let's do a little channel update here. For my computer, I'm going to be looking at getting some new graphics cards soon, or I'm getting one new graphics card. Because the one I have right now, well, let's just say it has 1/4 of a gig of memory, which is not enough for 3D rendering, so I will definitely be needing to get a new one. And if you guys know any good ones for around the $100 range, that would be great. I've looked at the GT 720, I think, as well as the GTX 750 Ti. I saw both of those. They're decently looking, and yeah, I don't know, what do you guys think? If any of you know good CPUs for decent prices, they need to be an Nvidia because otherwise I can't GPU render with Blender. But other than that, if any of you for some reason are actually like 3D animators and know anything about that, let me know if you think 2 gigabytes of memory on a graphics card is enough to render big important scenes. And if not, then I don't know. But if any of you know if that's enough, then that would be great to get some extra input from what I've already searched up. Other than that, channel news, I think that's it, to be honest. If you guys have any other build ideas or things you want me to show you, or any video ideas in general, that would be great. If you just throw them down in the comments below, I will try to see all of them as I can, but of course I'm still pretty busy over the spring break. If you want to, go check out my Facebook page or my Twitter account page. I don't know, I don't use Twitter that much, but I will have them thrown up on screen so you can go check them out if you would like. Thank you again for watching. This has been Shadane with the Vampire Hunter. See you later, guys.